We are going to get started with our post Mega Camp Showdown. We had a pre-game for Mega Camp, we had Mega Camp, and now we have a post game with some lovely ladies on our panel today, with Dennis Russell again moderating. So I'm gonna leave it to you guys. I'm gonna shut my screen off. Jessica Starr should be on here any moment now. So it'll be the three of you and Dennis. So take it away, Dennis.
Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer. Appreciate it. All right, Jen Bovey, everybody. Wonderful, fantastic. All right, so here we are again. We had that thing before Mega Camp, and now we're going to talk about the great takeaways, the great ahas we got from Mega Camp. So we've got some incredible guests. My name is Dennis Russell. I'm a MAPS coach and a bowl coach. Let's find out about our guest, okay? So who would like to go first and introduce yourself?
Go, Lori, go.
All right. I'm Lori Seavey. I am at Keller Williams, of course, and I am in the Foxborough, North Attleboro area. Love the company that I'm with. Love the group that I'm with there at Keller Williams. So I have a small team. It's myself, a buyer's agent, and then a admin/buyer's agent right now. So that's where I'm at in my business.
Okay, so do you want to tell us what kind of production you're doing, what kind of volume you're doing?
Oh my goodness, I should have looked all that up.
Oh, I'm telling Gary, if you can't spell your P&L, I am so telling.
I know, believe me. Oh my goodness. So anyway, we've closed about 60 deals, so over 60, a little over 60 this year. I mean, last year I have my numbers down that, you know, we were, I think, at 33 million and we sold over 90 houses last year.
Okay.
So, but I feel like things are so picking up. We're going to finish the year really strong.
All right. Well, good job. Congratulations. Lori, thank you so much for being here. Kristen, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I am in the Boston Northwest Market Center. So I'm in Concord, Massachusetts. My market area is the Acton, Boxborough, Littleton area. My business is primarily listings. I'm an individual agent that is growing into a team. After all these years, I've kind of seen the light that it's time to have a life and some balance and maybe share the wealth a little bit. So for production by myself last year, we sold myself. I have a, just to back up a little bit, I have an operations director, the marvelous Ashley, and a transaction coordinator, the incredible Laura, and they keep me, you know, moving forward. And then I also have a stager on staff, and my stager and my operations manager are both licensed. So they don't actually take clients. I do all of that, but they are licensed so they can interact with clients as necessary and help me out. So anyway, 57 houses last year for 35 million. This year we've closed 38. We've got 14 under agreement. So we're on track for 32 million. My average sale price has gone up just as the prices in our area have gone a little bit crazy. So I'm trending to the same volume. I'm not sure if I'll hit my goal of 70 houses this year, but I've still got a whole quarter left. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, you ladies are crushing it. So Jessica, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and what your production is, what you're doing, all that kind of good stuff.
Hi, sorry, I'm just jumping off of KW Connect. So sorry, I'm a couple minutes behind. Nice to see everybody. I am Jess Starr. I'm with KW in Connecticut here. We cover a good chunk of Connecticut and Lower Mass. Our team does about 175, 200 deals a year, and I do about 70 plus myself. We are a one-income house. I have 4 children that go from 7 to 15. And we own multiple investment properties. We run around like crazy. I married my high school sweetheart, lived in the town I grew up in. What else do you want to know? I've been in bold 17 times. There we go.
How many? 17?
17. Actually, and you know what? I was just on Bold Pivot last time, so I was super grateful.
Yes, you were. You were on Bold Pivot last time in August. All right. So, hey, so we are going to jump into it right now. We are going to learn from these incredibly powerhouse agents. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, since we just finished Mega Camp, they've had a couple of weeks to kind of digest what was going on and what happened. Let's find out. So one of you, any of you, all of you, tell us, what was your biggest takeaway from Mega Camp 2020?
I think there's so many takeaways that you could have from that. I mean, it's hard to narrow it down to one.
Mm-hmm.
The one simple thing I thought that was great to do was just that simple 5-5-5 rule. If you can do nothing else, How many of you guys saw that Charlotte Savoy had talked about that? No? Oh, so simple. Okay, so
Yep.
you know, we all want to do 2 hours of lead gen every day because we really want to do that, right? And how many times do you not stick to that and maybe feel bad about that because other stuff comes up, or maybe you have a team or whatever else? Well, she said what they started doing was every day at 9, they would make 5 calls, 5 text or Facebook two-way conversations, and 5 handwritten notes. And they felt like if they could get that, and no matter what, they had to have two-way conversations. So if you make 5 calls and you don't talk to 5 people, that doesn't count. You have to talk to 5 people. But if they did those things and they, you know, basically had 15 contacts, then they were good for the day. So, you know, you could do in any combination you wanted, and she felt like they won the day. So I said, you know what, that's simple. I can give myself that. So my one thing was I put it immediately into my calendar, 9 o'clock every day, the 555.
Wow, the 555,
Alrighty
powerful, powerful. Love that. All right, who's next? What do you want to tell us? What did you learn?
If I can piggyback just on that, because I think it's awesome and I'm already taking my notes here, so thank you. But I think the one thing with that, because you said you're now doing that every day, is one of the things that Keith Cunningham said was he talked about consistency.
Mhm.
And that really hit me. And he quoted just like, what are the common themes of successful people? And he quoted, ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results. And so sometimes it's doing that thing like that 555, but that you do it every single day. And it really hit me because I really, hopefully I'll be speaking to people that are kind of like me that don't have it all together. I've been blessed. I feel like my business has done great, but I'd like to be the one that gives people hope here that I don't have everything there, but I think being more consistent, I'm a very spontaneous person as it is, being really consistent, being really focused on what I'm going to do every day. And even if it's something like you just said, the 555, anybody can do that. But if you do it consistently, what it will do. So the word that came out so much from this, and Keith Cunningham's quote there really hit me about being more consistent and the things I'm going to choose to do.
Okay, love that. Consistency. Yep, Keith Cunningham. Genius, genius.
Consistency compounds. That is what I tell my team all the time. Be the most boring, most consistent person in the room. Consistency compounds.
Yep, that's how you prevent being on the road less stupid, like Keith says. So good job. I love that. That, you know, he should have said that. What was he say? He said, it should be on a bumper sticker. Consistency compounds. Love that.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, Kristen, what you got for us?
Okay, so as usual, I love Gary's market update. I look forward to that every family reunion, every mega camp. So my biggest takeaway from him was that we have to prepare for the market that we're moving into. So I'm super fortunate. And Lori, just so you know, I don't know a single realtor that has it all together. We all like to make it look like we do, and we make it look really easy, but behind the scenes, we're all a hot mess.
Hot mess express.
Yeah, but we get it done. You know, I think that's just part of the personality as I flip my hands around. Anyway, so I'm super fortunate to have an all referral business. I have not had to market or prospect and I'm just admitting it to the bold coach. Sorry. I probably haven't prospected in 10 years because I'm local. I sell a fair amount of new construction. I'm super active. So business comes to me, and I feel really grateful for that. But I've reached 2 things. One, I can't do it by myself anymore and have any sort of balance in my life. My 4th grandchild was born this morning and I'm here.
Wow.
You know, I am not at the hospital with my daughter. I'm here. But that's an issue for me. So anyway, getting back to that, super fortunate that where I am in the Concord area is a knowledge-based market. Our prices have gone up. We can't keep up with the business right now, but that's not going to last forever. So while I'm leaning into that, you know, I also need to prepare for what's going to happen in 2021, 2022. We do a top producer huddle every Tuesday, and we do a daily morning huddle at my market center. And, you know, we kind of did an informal survey. What's everyone's pipeline look like? And no one's pipeline's looking particularly strong right now. So again, going back to Mega Camp, looking at everything Gary was saying, you know, Keith Cunningham's quote, you know, you can be dealt a lousy hand and still win. You can be dealt a great hand and lose. I've got a great hand right now, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be a winner next year. You know, we're going to see what happens. So then I kind of drill down into the 2 different tracks, which was for me, lead generation, listings, and then leverage, because that's where I personally am. But I think everybody should be looking at that, and everybody should be preparing for whatever's going to come next.
I love that. So based on that, I guess, Krista, we're gonna start with you just because you're kind of finishing that. You were talking about, some things looking at your pipeline and stuff like that. How are you gonna apply, understanding what the market is going to? How do you take that information and really drill down to get the success? Because you've been successful, so obviously you know what you're doing. I mean, you're a queen. I mean, you're just crushing it. How do you take that and allow that to, have your business continue to explode as it's been doing all these years?
So a bunch of things. I mean, command is number one. I am a late adopter. I really, having been with Keller Williams for a long time, I resisted making a lot of changes because we've been through so much technology. But now that we are where we are, jumping into command, and we actually, right after Mega Camp, started doing that, the Facebook Accelerator, getting our database in. So there's that piece of it. And then also looking at demographic farms, looking at putting together new marketing plans where I haven't really had to do that with people who already know and trust me, using all different contacts that I have, getting them all into one place and actually being able to start marketing to them, which I haven't had to do for a long time. And then the other piece is delivering consistent good service and never, ever letting the quality of the service that I give fall behind, because I think that once that starts happening, it's a snowball. So kind of those three things are happening all at the same time.
Okay. Well, Kristen, let's be clear about something. Everybody wants the business you have. All right. That's what they want, where the business comes to them. So kudo, gold star, good job. All right. Hey, Jessica, Lori, you're welcome. Who'd like to take that? How are you applying the things you learned from Mega Camp? In terms of your consistency, in terms of the 5-5-5, how are you applying that stuff?
I thought of one of the questions from Gary's mastermind was, what's the one thing if your competitor did to you in your farm area that if they did it to you, that it would really shake you up? And thinking about that, I was like, oh, geez, what would they do? What could they do? And they said, right now, every business is up for grabs. Every business. So how do you create that loyal fan base where, 50% of the businesses, even if they've had brand loyalty before, are willing to go try somebody else right now? So how do you build that brand that creates ambassadors? And, I always think we want to be the Disney of real estate. And we tell everybody that. We're the Disney of real estate. We have our 5-star promise, like my friend Tony Baroni and my Kicks have their promise, right? So we have the 5-star promise, and it's all built around the client experience, that book, and Disney, and we model after that. And so what experience can we create for our clients so that nobody can touch them? And like this weekend, we did a client event, and the client event literally was fall pictures on the bridge of their families. And it was back to school pictures for the kids that are homeschooling and for just them, because they could be hybrid learning too. And we tied that with a charity to a food drive to our local food pantry. We've been feeding the food pantry 3 or 4 different times this year, because every event that we do, whether it's physically distanced, not socially, because we're still social, or it's in person, we tie a charity to it, and we want our community to know we care about our community. So that was huge. So how do we have buy-in from our clients? And they were literally in tears. Some of them came up to us and said, we had to close our business and we have no money to do this right now, and we had to claim bankruptcy, but we're able to keep our house and we're homeschooling our kids. So you just gave us back to school pictures. We just got a 10-year anniversary picture of us and a family picture that we wouldn't have been able to afford. Thanks.
That's amazing. And that's such a great idea too.
It is.
And it's easy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so how do you create that experience, right?
Right. No,
so
that's
hopefully
amazing.
everyone here's taking notes. All right. Hopefully everybody's taking notes. Jess, you got anything else to edit? That was some good stuff. Because I know people's ears are buzzing. So.
Yeah, I think community is so important, and I think consistently being involved in your community. I've been blessed to be the top agent for the past 7 years in my town that I live in, and I believe it's come from giving back and consistently doing things. And there's things we've added, like this year we added giving a scholarship to I give it to 2 high school seniors, and I give it to girls that are going into business, because I want to help one of them decided she really loves real estate, wants to go into real estate. So she totally got one of those scholarships. But we made the really big check that said Lori CV Realty Team, and it had the amount, and we went by and we delivered the smaller check that was worth a lot more to them. But I think in consistently trying to think, how can we give back? One of the things that I did, I was going to talk about it later, but I started a COVID page when everything happened. I started a North Attleboro COVID page called Standing Together, because honestly, I started it not for my business. I started because I thought, how can I help? Who are the people out there, especially the older people, that don't have help or don't have anybody there that can bring them groceries or whatever? So kind of just started that page. And now we're kind of churning it after listening to Nikki's class on her community page, now kind of taking that and wanting to have our own. We have community pages in North Attleboro, but I want my page to stand out even more. So kind of turning that. I do an event every year for the food pantry in North Attleboro. It's a big event. We've done it every year. I don't promote it as me, though I'm the one that's doing it, because I have a lot of other agents that will also give. But it's been a huge event that gives back to the food pantry. But again, I think it's consistently, I give to my town of where I'm involved. Any sports that are doing, I'm sponsoring those sports teams. I actually help coach track in my town. So just any way that I consistently give back to the town, it benefits me. I love it, but it definitely has helped my business.
Wow. Okay, let's go. Let's stay with this coming from contribution, this bold law. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I think that's one of the secrets that most people don't get, that, you know, it's about what you give before what you receive. So yeah, let's talk about that a little more. What else would you guys like to add about that? That's some good stuff.
I will say one of the things that I did when this all happened too, because I probably had 2 weeks where I was like, oh, what's going on here when COVID hit? And then it actually got really busy. But in that 2 weeks, I decided to start interviewing the restaurants in my town. And I decided to interview like small businesses, like people that were spa owners or did decorating or a hair salon. And so I did Zoom interviews. And honestly, you can easily be like, when I lose 10 pounds, then I'll do it. Or when I look and I thought, let me just do it and not make it about me. And it's about them. I did have my jacket, it said Keller Williams, and I did introduce myself as Lori Seavey from the Lori Seavey Realty Team at Keller Williams. Other than that, I made it 100% about them. And how can we help? How can we support you? But it was really good, because now being consistent, I need to take that into, okay, some of those businesses are open. What can I do now? How can I continue those interviews? But it was good to just kind of let me promote your business. Let me help your business. So that was one of the things that I also added during this time.
All right, who else?
We actually did the exact same thing, and we did the business spotlight every Thursday. We were kind of coaching the business owners on what to do too, because their mindsets weren't there. So we took, I took what the bold classes have taught us all the years and thought, hey, it's time for me to give back and teach these people how to think, because a lot of them didn't have the opportunity to have those same things. So, teach them how to do some of the social media stuff that we do with Facebook and Instagram, and think bigger. And some of the pizza shops stayed open because of what they did. We helped them reinvent stuff to do with their kids. So they made pizza boxes that you could do make at home pizza kits with your kids. And we said, hashtag Luna loves you, hashtag Luna Pizza West Hartford, and get your mom groups involved so that you can do it. But they were clients of ours. And I just had them on my heart, and I called them and I said, listen, I was thinking about you guys. Why don't you do this? Because of these pizza kits, they ended up selling their house still and going to buy another house that was bigger, and then opening another business list. It's crazy. So you think about like what the impact you can have on one person by teaching them some of the amazing things we've learned at our company, and just inspiring them to do that. So, and also teaching them to give back too. So having the kids in the community do the same thing with giving back, I think is huge. And getting the kids involved when you're doing these charity and community events. I made it a point to have all our, 4 kids with us at every event that we did, because I thought that was important, collecting the food and bringing their kids with us too. So it was huge.
All right, anybody else like to add some more about coming from contribution?
Well, I think if you're doing, there's a lot of sports, there's a lot of fundraising that's needed. Like a lot of the, people will come to me, I'm sure people are coming to you guys also and just saying like, can you give, can you sponsor or whatever. So in sponsoring the teams, baseball team, it's more giving the money, but they do a lot of fundraisers. So I usually make a basket and I call it Home Sweet Home. And then I fill it with like Home Depot, Home Goods. If you guys have those stores, Home Goods is like the best. But putting it with all of that stuff, a book that you put in information about your house, and then I'll usually do a keychain that has my information on it and everything. So even though I'm giving in some way, it is promoting me, and I make it the Home Sweet Home about the real estate, doing that. So that's been my like main thing. If I'm doing a fundraising, they need a basket. That's the one that I'm making up during that time.
Wow.
I think I'd like to jump in and we're all top producers. We have budgets to do these things. I think that, you know, I'm always very sensitive. I do a lot of the Ignite training and new agent training. I'm always very sensitive to people at different places in their career. And I think the message for anyone in that place is get involved. You don't have to throw a lot of money at things, but be involved, sponsor things. Even if you're just promoting those local businesses on your business page, on your Instagram, whatever, that's going to get you out there. So I don't want anyone to have the perception of, oh, if I don't have deep pockets, I can't come from contribution, because it's not just money, it's showing up.
So Kristen, I want to piggyback off of that, because I love that you said that. I think so many people get frozen in fear and think that stuff is going to cost them. And instead of thinking of that, they forget the value of time and impact. And I think that's something they should write down. Time and impact are our two most valuable assets. And are you influential? Are you social? Because you might not have the money, but you might have the time, and you might have the resources, and you might have the connections. So you can be a connector, and that's what matters most. If I can connect this pizza shop owner with this advertising company that needs to help each other, well, the ad company needs to have an event, the pizza company can help, they need help advertising, so let's help them, right? And then in between, who do you think they're going to promote? Well, they're not going to just promote, they're going to tell the people in their businesses to call Just Star when they need to go buy a house. So
yes, hold on, say that all again, because I think, I mean, Kristen, Lori, you started it. Kristen, you took it to the next level. Now, Jessica, you're putting this icing on the sundae, or the cherry on the top of the sundae. So put that part in there again about how you did the connecting and all that.
So when you have, here's a good example. So we had a great little coffee and cheese shop. I did a business spotlight with them on Facebook. That was a private stand up to COVID-19 Support Connecticut Small Business Group. We did that. They had closed their business down. They talked about doing virtual events. So I connected them with a local wine place as well. So they started doing virtual events. Well, they reopened the cheese and coffee shop then. Then guess what? When they needed to sell their house, guess what they did? They called us. I didn't do it for that business, but they needed to do that. And so the person at the package store called me, the person at the cheese shop called me. And I did that just to connect them and just to make sure that they had that business growing so they could think differently from how they were normally selling their product when their doors closed and they couldn't do it that way, right? Or then they started hand delivering custom cheese baskets every Friday, right? So how did they think differently to reinvent their business? Or the girl that owned the Acro Fitness thought she had to close her business down. She was a past client. And I said, why don't you stream your classes and come up with arts and crafts classes? People are looking for stuff to do with their kids. I have 4 kids at home and I am trying to work. Please put something I can stream.
Yeah.
Let me pick up stuff. I don't care.
You know, I want to drill it back though, that you don't have to be a huge influencer or a huge connector. You just have to get out there and, like I said, show up and do something.
Talk to people, check in at the coffee shop, and tell people why you like your maple latte.
Yeah. I had Trisha on my team. So I'm right on Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I'm right on the border. So Trisha handles a lot of the Rhode Island. And I was really proud of her because she started people were saying, hey, we need a mom's group. We have and she's like, she's great with social media. She's great on the computer. She's like, I'll start it all. So she leads that whole thing. So her name is out there all the time. And now people are like, you're the one that got the whole mom's group going. Yeah. So you don't need the money to do that stuff. You don't need the money to volunteer your time and be out there.
So it sounds like you have to be involved and you have to be listening and you have to be coming from contribution and caring, which is kind of what we've been talking about since COVID happened. You know, if you care about your database, you care about your neighborhood, you know, that will generate business for you. So I love that. Anybody else want to say anything on that before we continue? Because this is a great topic. I think a lot of people are getting a lot from this.
No, I'm so grateful for, in some ways, like I said, just getting out there for social media, that you can impact people through Facebook, through pushing their businesses, helping people that way. So it's been a social media, it can be a curse and it can be such a great blessing, you know, and it really is, in being able to help other people.
Okay. All right. Any last words on that? 'Cause that was a great topic. All right, perfect. So Mega Camp for the first time was online. Tell me, what do you guys think about that? And how do people get the most from online learning?
I can tell you, for me, honestly, okay, so Jessica, you've done 17 bowls. I've done one online, okay? These are things I need to change. For me, I always say I'm a mom first. That's why I even do real estate, is so that I can provide for my kids. I have a 17 and 19-year-old now. I will say this on the side, profit share is paying for my son's college. So I am so grateful to Keller Williams for that. Seriously, everything right now, he's a sophomore. I have not paid a penny. It's been all my profit share that has paid for his college.
Wow.
So for me, the reason why I have not gone to some things, I have not, it's because I have not wanted to miss my kids' stuff. They're very, very involved in sports. And so I have not wanted to miss that. So for me, that this was online, I loved it. Now, I'm sure I am missing that whole, when you're together, and the energy and the excitement, you know, is amazing. But I think I wouldn't have been able to really go to Texas and do all if it wasn't online. And I felt like I was so grateful. I will say, to get the most out of it though, is learning to shut myself off from everything else around me and focusing.
Time block it.
Yes, because that was so hard. Because it's so easy to get distracted. Your phone's going off or whatever. Let me pick up this call. Then you missed a bunch. I'm so grateful that they recorded these and that they allowed us to go back, and that we're having them for 60 days, because I've gone back, and even classes that I heard that I might have missed because I grabbed a phone call, I'm able to now hear and go deeper in those classes. So maybe if I was live, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I'm grateful that we did them online. For me personally this year, that's the only way I would have been able to hear this stuff.
All right.
Go ahead, Jess. I'll go next.
So I think it was great. I wish I knew that they were going to allow us to have it after. That would have been helpful. I don't know why I didn't realize that, because I felt a little tired. Because I clearly am super committed to learning when I say I'm going to do something. And I will say I think it was wonderful, and I think it was amazing, because there's so many people who are unable, because of the expense and the time away and everything else, to be able to make those things. And it always has hurt my heart, in a sense, to have to go. And yet at the same time, oh, my heart hurt because I couldn't go hug all my friends and see everybody. I wish there was like some sort of hybrid where I could just be myself there and hug everybody and come back and be with my babies too. But I still think they did an outstanding job doing this. And all the people that don't get to experience Mega Camp, really, this was truly phenomenal. I couldn't believe the job that they did. It was wonderful. And I have been to so many Mega Camps. It was outstanding.
Mm-hmm. So as being third, this is like being the third listing agent in. I'm actually I want to tie together what both Lori and Jess said, is that it was amazing being able to go time block or not. I mean, I definitely got pulled away. Go online. Amazing to be able to go online, participate when I could, but I knew that we had 60 days afterwards, so I wasn't stressing out. And so what happens when I go to family reunion or Mega Camp and I get a phone call that I have to take and I have to walk out, I've missed it. Like whatever happened, I missed it. I'm not getting it back. This, I knew I could go back and watch. And then the other piece of it is the different programs that I found really useful. I've watched 3 or 4 or 5 times, just to really incorporate it, or if I missed something or the dog barked or whatever. So I thought that was great. I loved the fact that I could take notes right inside the video, and that it all got just kind of moved right over into my dashboard, but I have a question about that, actually. And I don't know if anyone else watching right now has the same question, is should I be printing all that out? Like after 60 days, does the whole platform disappear?
Probably.
You should print that out.
Yeah, so. No, I just thought of it talking to you guys now.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so I just think there were a lot of great things about it. I've been to, I think, 5 family reunions. I want to say 3 or 4 mega camps. I am an extrovert, but I also get really maxed out. So I actually find that those events are really overwhelming for me. And I'm trying to run my business. I'm a single agent, trying to run my business while I'm gone. Getting back to what you said in the beginning, Lori, like everyone, I always wonder, how do all the other top producers go and actually attend everything and keep their business running? What am I doing wrong? but being online takes that pressure off, because again, I know I could balance it out, and I didn't feel like I was missing anything. And last but not least, with the whole missing thing, I knew that if I chose a certain track that I was going to follow, it didn't mean that I was giving up the other ones. Whereas at the live family reunion, whatever breakouts you go to means you're saying no to something else. In this case, it wasn't a no, it was a later. Okay, I'll get to you later.
Ooh,
So.
like that. Love that. Not a no, it's later. Love that. Love
Yep.
that. Well, you know what's great? You guys are also learning based, that you really were participating, at Make-Camp at the absolute highest level. There we heard a big emphasis, on our partnerships with Google, Facebook, and things like that, like the technology piece. What did you guys get from that?
Everything.
Yeah, I thought the one with Facebook was amazing. And when you look at, here we are, the biggest real estate company, being attached to the biggest social media and and Google, how incredible what we get, like how incredible. And I'm learning more and more, but even for us to put an ad out on command, that they're looking at the thousands of agents as one person rather than somebody in a different company trying to put an ad out, onto Facebook, and there is one single agent. So the partnership, it's phenomenal. It's incredible. I cannot wait to see even how much more this grows and how we're going to be able to service our clients through this. But there's no other company that's doing this. And I'm just blown away by it, and constantly having to learn more about it too, but blown away by it.
We're big fans of Command, and we're all in on Command, and we use Facebook ads like crazy. That's what I was just on KW Connect talking about before this with Nick Baldwin. So it's just fun to see the background behind all the connection and know that what we're doing is right. Yes, there will be hiccups along the way, but if we just keep consistent with our efforts and keep doing it, that clearly the results are going to pay off. So it's amazing just to see all the work. When these events always show you how much more KW is working on our behalf, and it's nice to know that they are too, I think.
Well, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm on the ALC. I've been with my office since 2007, all that. I had no idea about our partnership. I don't know how I missed it. I actually do read up front, and I do read all the emails and all that. And I had no idea we had that kind of a relationship with Facebook and Google. So I actually watched those interviews a couple of times, listened to them while I was walking my dog. I love the data that they can provide us. I loved understanding, I forget which one of you guys talked about how 54% of consumers are open to trying a new brand right now, but that doesn't mean they're going to stick with that brand. So how do you capture that business and then make them so loyal to you that they don't go back to whomever they were working with before? So, so again, just synthesizing all of it, pulling the information that they're sharing, and then being able to apply it, drill it right down to the local level. How am I going to apply that in my little town of Acton? What am I going to do next? And how am I going to leverage that now that I know it exists?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, back to that, what I said earlier, you guys, you do not have to be a mega agent to be able to do any of this. Anybody watching right now can be a mega agent. Just take all these tools and just start somewhere. We were all new one time. At one point, none of us had ever sold a house, right? And then we sold our first house, and then our second house. And now we're here.
The crummiest thing is, I don't know if it's crummy or not, but the word mega agent, like I for some reason, I always kind of like shirk away from it for some reason. And I just feel like, hey, we're just a people, right? Yeah. Everybody just puts their pants on the same way. Mm-hmm. And you know what, guys, when I first sold houses, I want to tell you how I killed it my first year, all right? I sold 2 condos that were $140,000 a piece. There's the mic drop for you. There.
So Dennis, you're gonna love this. The story I always tell is my first year, divorced mom with 2 kids. I saw a couple of houses. I made $29,000. You cannot raise two children on $29,000. Second year,
3,000.
2008.
I made 3,000 at Prudential.
Yeah, woohoo, huh? And then second year, so 2008, I made 35 grand. Still can't support children. Took Bold, hit 6 figures, never looked back. Hated Bold. Not going to say I didn't hate it, but never looking back. And it did take me where I am today. But it's the same thing. I mean, Lori, what did you sell your first year? I mean, granted, it sounds like you had a little advantage with your dad, but.
Well, I started in July, so that half a year it was like 19,000. I think that second year was 39,000. I remember looking at agents that made 100,000 and being like, oh, wow.
Yeah. I will never do that.
If I could ever do that, like that would be amazing. And honestly, I did every single open house I could do. That's how I got started. I did just let me do an open house. Can I keep the buyer? Let me do an. Somebody came in, I was not going to let go of them, follow up with them. So much of my repeat business today is clients that I sold from doing that open house that I met at that open house way back in 2005 that I'm now selling somebody, either them, another house, or their family member a house. It all started from way back then. But like I said, I did every single open house I could do and just held on to people.
Well,
so
you know
the point I was trying to make was that anybody can take Mega Camp and everything that Mega Camp offered us. Pick something, just pick one thing and do it. Show up and do it, and then build from there. Whether you're a mega agent or just starting out or anywhere in between, that's kind of the whole point of why we have these conferences, right?
Here's a good story about Mega Camp too. I had been at Prudential for 7 years. And I was their top producer in their office. I did about 5.6 million in sales and probably like 50 something houses myself with no assistant. And I didn't see my friends and I wasn't present at events and I was on my phone all the time and I didn't know how to manage it. And the team leader here showed me how to time block. And that was like eye-opening because nobody took the time to show me that, right? So for all you team leaders out there, you might be thinking, hey, I'm going to show them about money and how they're going to make more. I'm going to show them about this. Talk to a busy mom and show her how she'll get more time back. You're going to recruit more people. Give a mom time. You'll recruit more people. Time with her babies, right? So literally, that was the reason I came to Keller Williams. I first got the golden ticket to go to Mega Camp. And I was still at Prudential, which is Berkshire Hathaway now. I went and I sat there and I was so darn excited because I'd never seen anybody doing business like this. Do you think I switched right away from Prudential to Keller Williams? No. I married my high school sweetheart. I live in the town I grew up in. I don't like change, friends. So I am a consistent person. So I decided to take Bold because they also invited me to Bold. So why not? Halfway through Bold, I switched. And I have to tell you that first year being at Keller Williams, my husband had a traumatic accident at work. I found out the day before I was pregnant with our third. And I was 6 months in at Keller Williams. My business went up 114% that first year with a husband in a hospital bed in our living room, pregnant with our third. And I formed a team by September that year with just one agent and a part-time assistant. 114% it went up. So we did about 13 million that year. That was 2011.
Wow.
All right, then.
All right, so I got to do this as a Bold coach. I got to do a little plug because I've heard everybody, plug Bold. So, we know Bold is coming back October 20th. So, Laura, you get to go a second time on October 20th, just letting you know. All right. So, you know what? I love this conversation. So, and I love how you're talking about where you were and how you got to where you are now. I'd like to dig deeper into that. Lori, I love to hear you talking about the open houses. Tell us a little bit more how that blossomed from that to you now. And everybody kind of think about, you kind of started the conversation because I think there's people on here really going, they're really leaning in. Well, I want to know how to do that. I want to know how to do that. So, if you could, tell us a little bit more details about how that happened and everybody else get ready to talk about that.
Okay. Well, I did not have my own listings, of course, when I first got started at all. I was strictly a buyer's agent. I think everybody is when they first start. So like I said, I asked other agents, can I please do your open houses? Like, show me how you do them. I promise you, I will imitate everything. I will take care of it. I will be early, everything. Like, just be really professional when I do that, which even now, if I need other agents to do my open houses, I look for the agents in my office that I know are going to be really professional and represent, because in some ways they're representing me if they happen to be covering one of my open houses.
So hold on, whoa, don't leave that. All right,
Okay.
say that again so that people who are in your office and people who are listening understand about being professional. So tell that again. That's good
All
stuff.
right. Well, and it's so funny because I kind of learned this. I said my dad did real estate, and I get into it afterwards. We have a guy also in another town. He's actually with another office, but he owns another town. I always said, I want to be that guy, but in my town. Always, for him, always has his suit on, always like very, very professional. I thought I want to imitate him. So that's something I took into my business. But if I'm having somebody cover an open house for me, I want them dressing professional at all times. And I had one of my girls on my team come once, she was picking up a client's check and she had jeans on. And I was like, you need to go home and get changed. Like, this is their biggest investment. We're not showing up with jeans on. That's my own standard. I'm not saying that's bad if anyone else, but I've seen agents show up in sweatpants to showings. And I just feel like it just doesn't, I feel like we're not representing or the professionalism that we should be. So for me, I think it's not only how we dress, it's how we act, how we come across. So I'm very, very picky. So if I need an agent in my office, there's a handful that I know I will go to because I know they will be that way. Because like I said, they're representing me when they're at that open house. And for me, I know how I want to be represented. And so when I started out doing the open houses, I just really made sure, even back then, I was that person. There's a quote I use a lot. I use it in my listing presentation: autograph, your work with excellence. And I tell people, if I'm going to put a sign up in front of your house, I'm going to make sure I've done everything I can to represent your house the right way. Whatever. If I get there and I got to clean a toilet, I'm cleaning a toilet. I am doing whatever I have to do. So I think doing the open houses, I think starting that way, but then the follow-up, staying in touch with people throughout all the years. So I started in 2005, like I said, doing anybody's open house that would let me do their open house. That's what I did all the time, open houses. But that's where you get the buyers that are coming in. They're not walking out there on the street. They're coming in looking at houses. So that's where I wanted to be. So doing the open house, and then like I said, the follow-up was just huge, staying in touch with somebody. Once I get a client, they're not going to forget about me. Like, they have a baby, they're getting a baby gift, they're getting married, I have a book that I send them. Anything that's happened in their life, I want to be there and be a part of that, so that I'm holding on to that client. Plus, I enjoy it. For me, it's the relationships that make this business enjoyable for me.
Wow, that's great stuff. Now realize, now we're doing digital open houses, except you can still do basically the same thing. As people do digital open houses, it's the same thing. And you know what else I love about what you mentioned? You mentioned the difference between a contact and a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is one letter, right? It's the R, which is the relationship, which gives you the repeat and referral business. So I love that. All right, Kristen, tell us. You were talking earlier about, how you grew your business. Talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. So to me, you're only as good as your last client is really what it comes down to. So it's taking care of, I work in a pretty small area, just taking care of everybody so that when my name comes up, what they hear is hard worker, what they hear is great presentation, great marketing, got the job done, solved the problems. So that's kind of where I come from. I don't know, what are you asking me? What do you want to know?
When you started, okay, you said you did like what, 19,000 your first year, you did like 38,000. How did you then grow to be Kristen? I mean, what happened that you went from 19,000, 30,000 to Kristen? Yes.
I like that. Okay. One house at a time. In all seriousness, so it's actually the same thing I just said. It's one house at a time. Exactly what Laura was doing, making sure that everything I did, we did well, and then you build from that. And every listing that I had was something to leverage for the next one. in terms of letting people know, by leveraging the listing, I mean, doing an incredible job marketing. I mean, we started staging long before staging was in. I was one of the first people in my office to do professional photography for every single listing. Didn't matter if it was a $50,000 one or at the time a $500,000 one, everybody got treated the same. Again, recognizing that when you're new, the red light, green light, and making sure that you're not spending money you don't have. But I kept plowing back into the business, as I guess where I come from. I started out doing everything myself and slowly built it, kept it professional, and just kept, like I said, one house at a time. Every house is the stepping stone to the next one, whether it's buyers or sellers.
All right, Jess.
You're gonna have to repeat the question because my 4 kids just got home and I had to tell them to be quiet.
Okay, so all of your stories sounded very similar. I think you said your first year was $3,000 with your 2 $140,000 condos or whatever it was. All right, so how did you go from there to being Jess Star?
By caring a whole awful lot. That's it. There's nobody that cares more about our clients or our community than my team and I. So there's no secret sauce. We're more consistent than anybody else. Nobody cares more than we do, and our community knows it.
So
well, that's exactly what I was
care?
saying, Jess. Sorry.
That's okay. So how do you show that care?
Through our charity events, through the way that we teach the younger generations, through the way that we do our client events. Our client events are about creating a customer experience. It's not just about getting business. So one of our A+ client events, here's what I mean. Let me tell you about an A+ client event. Something that comes to our area is called the Polar Express. You guys know what that is, right? If you're mamas. And for us, tickets come available in August, right? They're kind of expensive. And if you're not planning on it, you kind of miss the opportunity to buy tickets in August because you're not thinking of Santa Claus and the Polar Express, right, in August. Yet they sell out really fast. So for A+ clients one year, I bought 2 train cars on the Polar Express. That's before I knew how to leverage out events. So that was a few $1,000s per car. And I wanted to say thank you in a big way. So then what we did was we had custom telegrams made that we delivered to each one of our A+ clients. A week before the event, we hand-delivered pajamas to each one of their kids that they were to wear on the train. When they got on the train, we had photographers on the train taking pictures of them and their families. They each got a book as well, and they got to enjoy it so they could create a memory with their family. And after the event, we sent them a thank you, and it was a glass ornament with a picture of their family in it. So when I talk about the details and I talk about knowing their clients, I not only knew their clients, I knew the clients' children's names. And I was able to create a memory. It was about creating a memory and an event for the client. So when I say our clients don't forget us, they don't forget us. The thank you cards and the Christmas cards we got brought me to tears because of how we think about our clients. So when I say we're the Disney of real estate, it's because of the details we put in. The details matter. Knowing somebody's name matters. So we take the time in any event that we do, whether it's big or small, to make people feel like they matter.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't see myself heading in that direction because we all have our own styles and our own ways for managing the business. I do a lot of charity work. I do a lot of fundraising. I tend to keep it really quiet. I dropped off food gift cards at the elementary school because the principal knows he can call me, and he had families who needed food over the weekend. Great, done. But where I focus more is, it's like what I said before, every listing gets treated the same. Every client gets treated the same, and they all get that. I'm not going to call it concierge because that's kind of turned into another definition, but everyone knows I care about them. I care about where they're going and about their house. Do I do client events? No, I've never done one. I haven't, but I still have a referral only business, and people in my area know that I get the job done. Because even though I got my license in 2005, I built my business in 2009 when hit the fan, and then just kept moving through that. And those years of foreclosures and people losing jobs and needing to get out of their houses, that's where I really made my mark, I think, by helping people get that done, solving whatever problems come my way, and like I said, treating everybody equally. So I think, Jess, you and I are looking at the same way. we just approach it differently, which is awesome because that's what
I
makes the
actually
world
don't
go
think we
round.
do. I actually don't think we do, because that was one of the aspects that we do. That was for one of our client events. That's how I started.
Yeah,
was doing
that's
everything
amazing.
like that. Which is the community and the charity events is really how our whole business is built. The client events have just started the last few years.
Mhm.
The last probably 4 years really. But the community and charity events have been forever. I mean, we're part of Homes for Heroes too. We've given back
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of dollars this year. Just my husband was a firefighter and I'm on the ladies auxiliary. So it matters to give back to the teachers and the firefighter and military families,
Yeah.
you know, and I think those kinds of things really can set you apart. You can create your own program. You don't have to be a part of that program to give back too, right? Another way to do it too is thinking about, we have the best opportunity to help people create generational wealth, do we not? With what we do. People don't know how to think unless you teach them. So one of the things I started doing for first-time home buyers was also giving them closing gifts that included David Bach's Smart Couples Finish Rich book, because I think it's so important. And I think there's a great how-to, and there's a great file system in the back, and how to set up life insurance and all sorts of other stuff. And a resource guide I put in with all my favorite vendors that were estate attorneys, life insurance people, and my financial planner. So I did that, and that can change the course of somebody's life based on the financial decisions they decide to make after reading stuff like that. So teaching people how to think.
So can you repeat that book again? I know there's people that probably missed it and they're scrambling to write it down and they're like, oh, it's gone. So if you could repeat the book and the author and stuff like that, I think people would greatly appreciate that.
So David Bach, B-A-C-H, Smart Couples Finish Rich. And it's very simple. So it sounds like, oh, that's a scary title. He also wrote a book called The Latte Factor. And it's about how you can become a millionaire basically by figuring out how much that latte and that, you know, granola bar that you're getting from the gas station and that energy drink you're grabbing costs you, right? Or that quick sandwich. You think you don't have enough money to invest in retirement. Well, guess what? You do. So
I think for agents right now, when we're talking about agents that may be on this, that are just starting, that may not have the money to go buy books or whatever, I think right now just reaching out to your client base and letting them know refinance can save them so much money right now. And I think getting that out there or making that phone call, it's a great reason why to call your database right now and just say, hey, what is your interest rate? Where are you at? Just want to know, here's where the rates are at. Here's some names and numbers. But I mean, I just refinanced my beach house and it's saving me $98,000. That's crazy. So I think that's a great way to, for people, something practical that they can do right now is to call their database to save them money that way.
they could
That's
also
smart.
call contractors as well, like call the heating and air guy, call the chimney contractor, and call the gutter cleaning guy. See if you can negotiate a deal or a discount if they mention your name, and say, I just want to call my best clients and give them your name. Would that be all right? Are you looking for any additional business? Would you mind just giving them a quick discount if they did? Because I'm just trying to, you know, make sure people are able to take care of their homes this season. And I'd love to connect them with great contractors. Would you be willing to give them a call back if they gave you a call?
Wow. Now, let me say this about this conversation, which I think really should be hitting people right square in the eyes. This conversation, even though I think a lot of people are thinking it's a new agent conversation, this is not a new agent conversation. This is a conversation for half cappers, even people above that want to go to that next level. And they're saying, well, I've called my database. I've exhausted what to say. What else can I say? This is the stuff right here that these ladies are talking about. This is the stuff that you say to go from a capper to a mega. All right. So hopefully you've been paying attention, because they're letting you peer behind the curtain of how to go to that next level. So I appreciate that. All right. What else? Okay. I know you talked about a book you were reading. What else are you guys reading, or what else have you recommend people start to do some research on? Maybe some things we even got from Mega Camp.
I actually wrote down a bunch of books that like anytime anybody mentioned a book, I wrote it down. I do not, unfortunately, have those notes in front of me. But so sorry.
If
I'm
you
useless.
ask me about, I mean, I read like crazy. So I interviewed with Nick Baldwin for Gary Keller's Mastermind. We did the book. It was one of my favorites. And if you're thinking about doing command ads, I suggest everybody read it. It's called 1 Million Followers by Brendan Kane. Nick and I interviewed Brendan for Gary's Mastermind, and he's going to be on Lab Coat Agents. He actually might have already been this past week, but he has a whole system on why you do the ads, formulating ad sets and testing out the ads so you know what your results are. And, so it was amazing. That's a great book if you're thinking about doing any advertising. 1 million followers is also about increasing your social brand awareness as well and growing your social media presence. And I just finished reading Stillness is the Key and the 12-Week Year.
12-week year, that one's a big one. All right, what else you got? Lori, look like you got something.
It's pretty awesome for having 4 kids that you're getting the reading done.
Yeah, you are a superwoman. You are a superwoman.
It's funny. I don't even know who mentioned this book, but someone had mentioned it and I wrote it down. I don't remember who, but I just bought it off of Amazon. Just started it, so I can't say a lot, but I've really have liked what I've read so far. I will say though, for the next whatever 40 days or whatever we have left on this whole mega camp, I would just dig into these classes as much as you can and go back instead of pick up a book if you can pick up a book too. I just feel like there's so much in these classes. Honestly, I felt like when they called me to do this panel, I was like, oh, this will be good for me because it's going to make me go back. And it's going to make me dig into these classes more. And it really, I feel like it benefited me. And I've learned so much more and have been so inspired by just really going back, listening to classes that were not on my track. I listened to a lot of other ones. So I feel like there's a lot of wealth right here in this library that we have. And for people in this next month to really go back and dig into those.
Sure.
Well, Lori, we're not going to leave it there. Now we're going to ask you, so which classes did you dig back into that you really got some stuff out of?
Oh my goodness, so many. I mean, one of the ones, and why, Jessica, were you on any of those things? Because I feel like you were the person who said this. Were you on anything I'm wondering if it was in one of the groups, I don't know. Anyway, somebody talked about be an engine. Like have your, whatever, who you are. Like I laugh, I tell my husband all the time, this is a corporation. I'm a corporation. Even when it was just me, this is a corporation. But be an engine, run my business like an engine. And one of the girls on my team, I love her. She's like, yeah, sometimes it can be like a chugga, 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 and it can be. And I thought it's my systems. And so when people were talking about systems, I was like, I really need to get my systems in order, starting with our operational systems, which is the MREA book on page 244. Just really, I want to be able to go, okay, this person leaves, here's a book. You can run everything from start to finish that way. But I think the systems with how I deal with every single client from start to finish, like when this happens, we do this. When this and then this
wait. The best part is when they leave, you're like, oh wait, that wasn't right. Hang on, let me go fix X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it's really like for us, I feel like though it really hit me of I gotta get these systems down. I feel like I can be reactive and not proactive. And it hurts my business. Like there's things that we do that are great, but sometimes we're reinventing them every single time. Like we do things at the final walkthrough, we bring a basket that we have toilet paper there, paper towel there, soap, hand soap, water, and a snack. The reason why so many people show up at their house, yay, my new house, they go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And there's no toilet paper and there's no soap.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's think through these things. And we were like, here's some things you may need. It's not their closing gift because that's something we do separate, but it's just these are essential things that you might need and we want to meet that need, whatever that is. And then it's like having pizza sent to their house on their move-in day. We have pizza sent. So, but it's just knowing these systems because every time I think what we're doing is we're running out, grab a basket. We got to make a basket. We got to do this. Instead of having it set, so right now we're actually making listing presentations and our buyer packets. We're going to have them printed out professionally because what happens is every time, I have a listing appointment, get on my computer, printing everything out to put the packet together instead of let me just grab it, it's done. And I think, like I said, I have been very reactive and not proactive. And I really got to take the time. I think it's really taking the time. Nice.
Hold on, Jessica. Everybody else didn't see that. Hold on. Go ahead.
She's showing off.
This is our pre-made packets our team can grab. And we, by the way, save yourself time, email your marketing packet. And you can also do it digital flip books too.
I was actually going to say that we use FlipSnack, and so my whole listing presentation is FlipSnack, and I'm toying with the idea of literally putting it out there just on Facebook or whatever. I don't care if other realtors see it. You know, there's that whole thing, oh, that's mine, but I am toying with the fact of just throwing it out there. This is how I treat my clients. Call me.
Yep.
So we'll see. But FlipSnack's amazing.
Is FlipSnack the one that you pay for?
Yes.
We found one, so we saw that one. We found the one that hosts that one, so we don't pay for it. So if
Well, I think you should put that in the chat.
When I figure out what the name is, because my admin found it, we're really good at finding, like, so we found the host of Matterport.
Yeah.
So we have the Matterport tours, but we don't pay Matterport.
You are a wealth of information, Ms. Starr. Bring it on.
So there's that. Yeah, but you know what, Lori, I love that. So we started doing a system, and I copied Jenny Wallach, a good friend of mine. So I just give credit because it's R&D. You rip off and duplicate.
I've never heard that before. I love that. R&D, rip off and duplicate. Okay.
Yep.
So
So we started doing, she always did, I think she did moving boxes, or she did packing tape or something. So we did packing tape that I branded, and we did moving boxes. So I got the moving boxes. Somebody on my team had somebody that they knew worked at Walmart, so we got a discount. I always like discounts. And then I bought stamps that were Star Realty Group stamps, so we could stamp the boxes. So they were all branded boxes. And guess what happens with boxes in our town when people don't use them? We're big fans of recycling. They post them on the Simsbury Neighbors Helping Neighbors page. So then somebody else is going to take the boxes that is going to need a realtor more than likely. And if they don't, well, then their realtor is going to see our boxes, which is just fine, because what do they do for their client? And we also give them branded moving tape that says Star Realty Group. So when our clients go under contract, we give them just 5 moving boxes, a roll of Star Realty Group packing tape, and 2 little mini bottles of champagne that says, here's a little something to get you started. And we bring that to the inspection. Nice. So that's like one level of like that extra step to, you know, give them the experience.
You bring the champagne to the inspection, the home.
She means final walkthrough, I think.
Okay, final
no inspection, home inspection.
Because if you have them drink, it won't be so bad.
There's a trick too. Pay no attention to the asbestos on the wall over there.
Awesome. We like to have fun, so they get that. So here's the thing. So remember, I said I featured those businesses on the Business Spotlight. Yeah. Well, guess what? Those businesses were also client of ours, so they decided to give us discounts when we bought our alcohol through them. So I bought cases of champagne, not just 1 or 2 bottles. And I bought mini bottles of champagne, so they're like single serves. So I'm not giving giant jugs, but I got mini serve bottles of champagne, and then little rolls of packing tape that we had made, and then the 5 moving boxes that were branded. So it's just a nice little touch and something to get them started.
That's so awesome. Yeah. I love it. No, I love it. That's great.
I think it's taking the time for how you want your business to look from start to finish. And this is what I'm in the process of going over. Like I said, there's a lot of things I have in place, but they're just kind of like, oh, we got to do this. Oh yeah, we do that. I just want to start and have just a system, and it's done, you know, from start to finish. And I think for every agent, they need to think, how do I want my business to look? And what do I want to do in all these steps, and really to take the time to get those systems in place. And I think hearing different things, I felt like a ton of the classes, I heard so many things that I'm like, I want to implement that. I want to add that to my system. And that was incredible, because honestly, in our office right now, we're not going in a ton. You know, we don't have a lot of teams in our office, so we don't have a lot of people to learn from. So to be able to be a part of the mega camp and to hear from agents what they're doing, whether they're huge producers or not, there were some that sold maybe, you know, 5 million, but yet there's a system that they have down that's amazing that they were able to teach at mega camp. That was awesome to learn from and implement into my own systems.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's leverage. Love that. That's exactly what Gary's always been talking about, the 3 L's: leads, listings, and leverage. Systems are leverage. Leverage people, systems, and tools. Love that. All right, what else? What else have you guys got? You guys got some good stuff. I'm just letting it go. You guys got this. What else you want to tell people?
I want to bounce off what Lori just said, where she was, because I'm doing the same thing. I'm watching all the different classes again, and what I'm trying to do is distill everything into manageable bites. So I have pages of scribbles of all the things that I want to do, but then I have to actually implement, and that's my biggest thing. I've gone to all these family reunions and all that. I come home with all these ideas, but you've got to actually implement. So my big goal for this is manageable bites. So pick one thing that I think someone's doing that's amazing, get that moving, and then move on to the next one. And that's probably the hardest thing, is because when you see all these great things, you want to do it all, but you can't. It's like the 66-day challenge. It's like anything else. It's one thing, master it, make it a habit, and then move on to the next. And
It's
don't
like,
rush it.
what did Jeff Woods and Jay Papasan say? It was like,
Oh, I
what's
don't
that one
know.
thing that by doing it, all things else become easier and unnecessary.
Exactly. Yep.
What's that one domino to get you started? So take all your ideas, put them down into 5, circle the one. Once that one's done, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, perfect. No, that's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. And then the old, all of the going back to basics and using the tools that we have, because I think that, when, especially as an individual agent, same thing, always running to the next thing, finishing it up, cleaning it up, off we go to the next one, using the systems, using the 411, using, the big rocks, and just basically taking everything that we have access to and taking advantage of it is really what it is, because no one is doing this the way Keller Williams is. So, just picking it all up and running with it.
Right. One of the things, so the same thing, I think it's finding something. And I was talking to my OP today, and he's like, Lori, a lot of people probably were taking notes. You take notes. You go to a class, you're like, this is awesome. You take notes, and then you shut the notebook.
Yeah.
And then you go home, or you do whatever, and you get busy. And you don't open that notebook back up, and you don't implement. So it's really, like I said, for me, it's been great going back in to go, okay, what am I going to really implement? I think for everybody, social media is huge. And I felt like I learned so much from Mega Camp and social media. So one of the things I was going to implement that, what's her name is, Alicia Simpkins. She did one on social media, and she does every week her market minutes. Now, I always hate being on social media. I can get insecure, like, oh, I'll do it when I look right, or I got to color my hair, or whatever. I can go through that. And I was like, okay, I am going to start this. I'm going to do it. So she does Market Minute, and she does it every single week. And she'll go through and she'll say, okay, here's how many listings are on the market right now. Here's what just came on. Here's what went under agreement, what sold. And I thought, this is so cool. So we worked with it all day yesterday, and I took a little snapshot because it cut off half of it, but I don't know if you can see. This is kind of what got posted, but what I loved is I wanted a video of me, but I also wanted everything printed, that people could see it printed. So this actually, when you go onto my social media, this was me talking. It was a live video. And believe me, we worked on this so long that I didn't have time to do my hair. So I just put a KW baseball hat on. I'm like, all right. But I did it in 59 seconds. And I thought, let me just do this every week. Let me be the authority in North Attleboro about what is going on in North Attleboro. We have a ton of amazing agents in this town from all different agencies, and we can all post things. And I think I posted about my daughter's soccer game yesterday. But I want to be doing this kind of stuff where I'm the one that's, giving that kind of information and being the authority. So from her, Alicia Simpkins, so she shared her Facebook thing. I went on, I watched how she did it. And I'm like, I'm just going to start doing that every single week, getting it out there. So that was one of the decisions that I made, because I think social media, it's huge. It's what it is. Everything's out there that way.
Nice.
So
So you pre-record it. It's not live. You pre-record it and then
I
post it.
pre-recorded this one because, believe me, I messed up. I was like the Keller Williams Realty team. Like what? I totally was. Yeah, I have to pre-record it. But
Whatever
that takes some of the scary out of it. Go ahead. I'm
Whatever's
sorry.
going to make you feel most comfortable, you should do. But I'm going to tell you something. I've been doing video for 10 years, since 2010. And I look really terrible. You can see every size I've been through, every pregnancy I've had, through every bad hair or whatever else. And you know what? I just said, I'm going to be confident, because my little girl is always watching me. And I chose to do it because either way, my face was out there. And I remember one time doing a coming soon video, standing outside of the property, and I'm like, hey guys, it's Jess Starr here with Star Realty Group at Keller Williams Realty, standing outside our property at 40 Mountainside, blah, blah, blah. Just as I'm doing it, instead of doing like a video and pre-recording it, I decided this one time, because Facebook Live was new, to do Facebook Live. And guess what? A fire truck decided to drive by in the middle of it. So I go, you guys hear that? This property's so hot, you better get down here quick. And then I just started laughing at myself. But people love bloopers. They love people that are real. And I remember being on a panel for like a New England Masterminds one time, and somebody was on there saying, well, you need to have the professional video and do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, listen, you don't need any of that. You got your phone. You can do it really easy. People want to work with people they like. And yes, is it bougie and super luxury? No. But you know what? You're getting the message out. You're doing it consistently. And they're going to know that you know and care about your community. You care about the house. And if you're funny, and if there's something funny that happens, another time I was doing it and a bug flew in my mouth. And I'm like, this is horrible. But people were like, this is a riot. And, you know, they loved it. So it was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just getting out there. It's what it is. It's getting out there. And I think people want to see, they want to see you more than, you know, read you.
Right.
So we're on Facebook. Let's hear a little bit about Facebook ads. I know we've kind of popped up a little bit. So what would you guys like to tell us a little bit about Facebook ads?
That might be more Jessica, because I'm just starting out with that one there.
Okay.
Trisha on my team in Rhode Island does that a lot more than I do, and she's had great success. So that's something I'm starting there. So I'll defer that question.
Okay. Lori, great leverage. Love it.
There you go.
So the Facebook, I mean, I don't know what you want me to talk about the Facebook ad, because I can talk a lot about it. Oh, by the way, social media, Instagram and your stories, people watch the stories like crazy, and Facebook too. We post these market stats side by side every Wednesday for different counties. Sometimes then we'll do a Facebook Live for like, hey, this is what's going on in your town. Let us tell you about it. So just on your point. The Facebook ads, best practices, you want that?
Let's go. Yep.
I'll give you my like 2-minute speech. So best practices, we have been testing ads since after family reunion. We started our first one, and they talked about it at family reunion. And as I listened to them talking, they're like, and this girl ran an ad. She didn't know she had leads, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, weird. We ran an ad. I didn't think I had any leads either. And then I realized when they showed the screen, oh, that's the number for your leads. So I happened to look it up, and I was like, we had 40 leads on this ad? Darn it. So anyway, so since then, clearly we realized we knew how to do the ads. We just didn't know where those leads were. So we've been running ads consistently. We've probably spent a total of $1,800 to $2,000 total since March. And you don't have to spend a lot. Our average ad spend is between $30 and $40. Listen to me and take notes. For 10 days, $30 to $40 for 10 days. We have, and that book, 1 Million Followers, the reason I know these numbers is because I created a spreadsheet to track all this. That was the secret sauce. We tested bigger budgets. We tested shorter time. We tested a bunch of different algorithms. And that was the secret sauce for us to get on average of 18 to 28 leads. So you're at about 24 leads, let's say, total per ad, all right? So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's not so bad. So, and we looked at her average cost per lead, and the cost per leads are crazy low. You're looking anywhere from like $1.25 to $3 a lead, if that, and it depends on your price point. We got really lucky in the higher price points, you get better leads. That's what we found. So over 500, we were getting even better leads. Using expert targeting categories, we got even more. So if you go to KW Connect and you type in, I don't know how you search on there because I don't search a ton on there, but I think there's 3 different KW Connects I did with Nick Baldwin on creating Facebook ads. There's also an Outfront article that we were featured in a couple weeks ago or months ago, I don't know now, but they have examples of the ads we've done in there. Look at the Outfront article, and then it's online too, and Command Your Conversion. There's been a bunch of videos that we've done on how to do it. So first, get a Facebook business page. If you don't have that, that's step 1.
Yeah.
Because you can't run it from your personal page. Step 2, learn about Facebook 101 if you don't know it, and then start getting into your ads. People will always ask, I can't figure out what an ad is or a campaign is. So because they don't give you a how-to in command, campaigns are where all your Facebook ads are held. So if you go into the campaigns area in command, that's where all your Facebook ads will be, and that's how you create them, just so you know. So, but we've gotten pretty lucky. We've closed over $100,000 in GCI since March from Facebook ads.
All right, congratulations, good job. All right, we're gonna have a little teeny bit of a pivot and then we're gonna come right back. All right, so here we are, Mega Camp is over. The next big event, of course, is Bold in October. Give us one quick Bold story, and then we're gonna come back to Mega Camp.
Quick bold story. Well, what kind of bold story? Like,
Well, obviously yours is good because your business blew up by over $100,000 and all that. So
Yeah.
yours is going to be a great bold story.
well, that pretty much is my bold story. You know, so I am signed up for October. It'll be my 4th bold, not my 17th, but I'm looking forward to it because it does get me back on track and it makes you accountable. But I think that is, to me, the best story ever. I'm a single mom, not making it in foreclosure, takes bold, does what I'm told to do. If anybody follows Gretchen Rubin, I'm a rebel. I hate being told what to do. That's why I'm a realtor, because I get to tell other people what to do. But yeah, do what you're told and, you know, follow the coaching, take advantage of the resources, and you too, there's no reason you won't be a 6-figure earner. There really isn't. If you actually do bold, you have to work hard not to make money, if you ask me. If you do it, there's no way you will not be successful. That was way too many negatives. We have to spin that. When you do bold, you will be successful. Oh.
Love that.
So I've only done bold once, and it was like the online one. And
Okay.
it's when a lot was going on, and I honestly was extremely busy during this whole beginning part of COVID when that was going on. So I probably didn't get to dig into it as much as I wanted to dig into it. But I think what would be bold is for me to actually take it and really follow it to go through it. So yeah, because I really, it was, like I said, my whole thing was like, I want to be a mom first and be there. So it was just something that I hadn't done. I'm kind of not the norm in my office. And I think my coach has wanted to like hit me upside the head at times. The thing is, when I do the things that he tells me to do, my OP now, when he was our team leader, when I do those things, I've always grown. He was actually the one that brought me into Keller Williams. And I said, it's not the money I want to make, it's the time I want to have with my kids. Like, that's what I want. But yet he took my business from, I think at that point, GCI of 300,000 up to 700,000, which I never even thought, and taught me how to start to make a team. So when I do follow that and listen and plug myself in, that is definitely where I take off. So I'm still working on repenting in that area. Okay.
That's great. Yes, Jess.
I mean, I kind of have said bold 8,000 times, and I feel like nobody wants to listen to me anymore. So complaining is a garbage magnet. I feel like,
where's your poster?
So I should get I love bold so much. My team, as a gift for me, had it made on a canvas, all the bold laws. So
that's awesome. No tattoos though? You got any tattoos anymore?
I'm really boring. I have 0 tattoos. 0.
Me too. I know, me too. But if I got a tattoo, it would be bold right there.
Right? My daughter's piping in saying, "You're beautiful."
Oh.
She's 8. So I take bold because the person I go in to it as is not the person I come out as. And every year I take it, or every season I take it for the mindset. I take it for scripts and dialogues I practice every day still. The habits I create in bold have created a life by design. Truly, we bought the dream beach house we've been wanting, that I wrote myself a bold letter on 7 years ago this year. And, you know, I realized, because bold taught me to know my numbers, that year my husband had the accident, the first year I switched to Keller Williams, I hadn't known my numbers. And because it was teaching me that, and the second time I took bold that year, they finally cleared him to go back to work after being out of work for a year. And because I just was learning my numbers, I didn't know if he could or not. And I happened to look, so I'll be vulnerable with you guys. And I was terrified. I looked at him and I said, babe, you can go back. And he said, yeah. And I said, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you it once. I said, do you want to go back to work? I said, you can only answer this once and there's no wrong answer. And he said, well, I mean, I think so. And I said, and do you want to go there? He goes, I mean, and I said, and you can only answer it once. He goes, I don't know, can we do this? Because he had started staying home with our daughter that was born after he had been out of work for a year. And I said, I don't know, like I've been working, and you know, the most I made at Prudential was like 120,000, right? And he had made probably 85. He did heating and air. He did pretty good. And we were a young couple with 3 kids. And I looked and I burst into tears. And he said, why? I said, you can stay home. He said, why? I said, because I'm making 100,000 this month.
Wow.
And Bold did it. So Bold kept me consistent with my efforts. It kept me consistent on the habits I build. And it kept me consistent on the debt I paid down, the savings I created, and the memories I created for the community and for my family. That's what Bold did for me.
Wow, that's powerful. All right, so everybody knows they're going to be October 20th. All right, as we wrap this up, let's get one aha, one takeaway that you want to leave everybody listening to say, this is the best thing you should get from Mega Camp.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think that my biggest thing is take advantage of all of the videos and all of the information that people across the country shared, because that's so special about our company, that we actually share what works for us and how to grow and how to make things better. And what I loved about the cross section of the company is things that people are doing in Indiana I would never have thought to do in Boston. But it's amazing, and it's new, and it's fresh, and it's different. So that was my one takeaway: is be open-minded and take advantage of what's out there, because it's amazing. It's just so much.
Mm-hmm. My takeaway definitely was that whole being consistent, because I feel like that will make a huge difference for me. So if I can just add a side note of one of the things that I didn't mention as we're partnering with Google, is one of the things I'm really starting to do now. I was always focused on my Zillow reviews. I think we have like 219 5-star Zillow reviews, which got me some great business. But honestly, I don't want to help Zillow, and I really care about Google. So I'm now switching those over to Google and trying to get my Google, which Jess, I saw yours. Awesome. But that's awesome. People are looking online. That's where they're looking. So I think going back to any of the clients that you have, and
Lori is very right, by the way. I'm just being a brat.
Get those Google reviews up. I know if I go to look for anything, a restaurant, whatever, I'm looking at reviews. And I think it's just really important to get those reviews up. And I'm grateful for that partnership with Google. I think we need to focus more on that than on Zillow that way. So just
Stop giving Zillow your money.
Good.
The funny thing is, I'm going to share a couple things. Can I share a couple things from Gary's mastermind real quick?
Yeah.
So he said, find the offering that makes them so sticky to you, it's almost as if you're married. And he said, the market of the moment determines our messaging and perspective. It does not determine our activities. He also shared in the beginning of his mastermind, and you guys should look this up on YouTube, look up The Lion, it's called. And it was this guy that sang this beautiful song. It would be good to share with your team or your loved ones. And there was a line in it that said, the help we give, the love we live. It was just beautiful. So it's a good thing to share, even on Facebook, because people need some good news. But I thought it was telling, because I always look at Facebook reminders. So these are good things to keep posting and sharing. Gary had said back in 2014 at Mega Camp, and I had posted it, I'm not successful because I'm smart. I'm successful because I'm resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in. It's true.
I think you say it one more time.
Yeah.
I'm not successful because I'm smart. I'm successful because I'm resilient.
Very good. Very good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've gotten as much from this as I have. I mean, this was an incredibly powerful session from 3 incredible agents. And I guess it's been recorded. I'm going to let Jen come back on and kind of close this all out. However, I want to say, Lori, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you so much. Jess, thank you so much. It was my privilege and honor to get a chance to actually hang out with you guys, because this wasn't an interview at all. We were just hanging out, just chatting, just, having a good old time here. So hopefully you guys got as much from it as I did. And Jen, thank you so much for allowing me to come and hang out with these incredibly powerful agents. I'm all the better for it, so thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you guys. Wow, what a powerhouse of a panel. Thank you ladies so much for spending an hour and a half with us today and really just sharing so many valuable nuggets to our region and beyond. So thank you. I cannot thank you enough for your time. And Dennis, as always, fabulous job. And we will see everybody soon. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you guys October 20th in Bold. You know I had to get it in. You knew I had to get it in.
Goodbye.
Sign up.
Bye.
Bye.